Hi guys, welcome to another video of this channel, Elevate and Excel with Ify Eze. Today's topic will be talking about how perfectionism is stopping us from taking action. This is a subject that is very close to me because for 1 year I've been postponing this project. So, rewinding 1 year ago, I had this idea in mind of starting my own podcast. It was a really vague idea, but it just came to my mind and I thought that it would be good and it would be positive for me. I really didn't know what name to call it, nor I really didn't know neither how to start. I remember 1 year ago, January of 2023, I was having dinner for my birthday and I was taking pictures. And someone came to me and told me if I was a YouTuber. And I said no because I was not doing anything on social media. I had my normal Instagram account like everyone else, but I wasn't doing YouTube just like now. It's incredible because as we were going to have dinner, I was just having that idea in my mind of maybe I could even start a YouTube, but I didn't think of doing it. I had the idea of starting the podcast for a year. It's called Elevate and Excel. It's available on Spotify. By that time, I didn't know if to do the YouTube also. That's what happens with us. We always have these ideas. We want to start something, and at the end, we don't start it because we don't have all the tools. We are not perfect at it. We don't have the following, or we don't have the equipment to start. We don't have everything figured out. So we are always postponing, and postponing. And that's something that affected me a lot in this journey because literally I could have started 1 year ago with this podcast and it's now that I'm doing it. But the good thing, I'm grateful because I'm finally doing it. I'm finally taking action and I just want this video to inspire someone. You don't have to have a big following. As you can see, like I'm just starting this YouTube channel from scratch, zero subscribers, zero likes. It's just like that. That's the way it has to be, You start from somewhere, from that you keep growing and you keep learning and you learn along the way. So with this, I just want to say that by that time, I didn't have everything figured out concerning the podcast. I had some names to call it, and I knew I wanted to do a podcast for young girls and young boys that are in their 20s, just like me, and to just talk about things of self improvement, motivation, self development, and all that kind of stuff that I feel is very important for us to be talking about and to be doing and to be applying in our lives, especially at this young age that we're starting with the adulthood. These are subjects that I'm really passionate about. I just want to share these topics and also connect with people that also are in the same journey of self improvement. Going to the main topic of this video, why perfectionism is stopping us from taking action. In my case, with content creation, I didn't have a good camera to film the content. So what I did was to save money. I worked and I saved money to buy my iPhone, and it's what I'm using now to record. Later, I didn't have a ring light in 2021. The idea of content creation, like taking Instagram seriously because I love fashion, was just like a vague idea. And a good thing is that I just said that I think I want to start taking content creation seriously and Instagram seriously. The minute that my friend heard that, he immediately bought me a ring light. That is a good friend. Well, I will talk about that, about friendships and all that stuff because I think it's very important, especially in our 20s life, basically. But right now, I'm using another light that I bought because the ring light, you'll be reflecting the cycle, and I don't like it when it's reflecting the cycle. So I just bought this one that you can see is very, very sharp. I'm finally putting it out to the world. Basically, I'm just doing it for me. It's also a way of speaking to me, it's also a way of getting out of my comfort zone and trying new things that I really love. Start creating the reality I would love to live in, start creating that dream life. The first thing is that time passes by. Time is just passing by. Like we're already in April, and that's crazy because we just entered 2024. You don't have to be waiting to have everything in order, to have everything figured out, to have all the equipment to start. No, because that's a mistake I did. It just like kept me away from starting this journey and from moving on and from living the dream reality for me that I wanted. The sooner you start, the better. Today is the most youngest you will ever be. Take advantage of that. Maybe you don't have everything figured out, but it's good for us to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. Me, for example, one thing that was like stopping me from starting this podcast was that I didn't know if to do it in Spanish or to do it in English, since I'm Nigerian and I'm Spanish also. And I didn't know how to release this content. So I'm just going to enjoy the process. I'm just going to do content in both languages and see what works better. Also, what makes me more comfortable in that sense. But for now, I don't have any problem in creating content in English or Spanish. I feel like I wanted to do this video in English. Like maybe I will do it in Spanish, but I don't know. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what you should do also. The destination is not all that matters. What matters is the journey, the process, what you learn. And I'm going to use this podcast also to learn about myself, to experience and to grow. Just enjoy the process, just fail, try. I'm going to try everything that's in my hand just to live this journey and to enjoy this journey. I'm going to embrace every failure and I'm going to come out more stronger from it because obviously in life we fail always. Failing is not something to be ashamed of, it's something to embrace and to learn from and to move on. God gave us this idea for a reason. For example, in my case, is starting a podcast. In your case, it might be being a graphic designer, being a fashion designer, maybe it's being a footballer, maybe it's being a doctor, whatever your case might be. God gave you the idea, God gave you the vision. He didn't give the vision to other people. He didn't give the vision to your friends, not to your coworker, not to your colleagues, not to your family. He gave the vision to you because he knows that you can accomplish that. He knows that you can accomplish that dream. That's why he gave you this vision. Don't be afraid if you don't have everything figured out. As I was saying, I just started this channel from scratch. I see people watching because people will always watch. I'm building something from scratch. And I know that if I remain consistent, other of the points that I want to talk about, I know that I can achieve things. And that's what you have to believe. You have to believe in yourself first before others believe in you. It might sound crazy, but it's something that I always think about. The reason you have that idea is because there's a future you that already has it. There's a future you that has already gone through that process. And that's why it's showing you that idea. Imagine like a time machine and your future self comes to you to talk to you and to say, what are you doing? Why are you still in bed? Why are you not moving? If you don't move, I won't exist. The next thing is ask yourself what is stopping you. Is it the knowledge that's stopping you? Is it the equipment that's stopping you? Is it money? Find ways that are more suitable to you to achieve what you say you want to achieve. For me, the phone I had before didn't have a very good quality camera. So I worked and I bought this iPhone. That is what I'm using to record. Also, I make sure I had lighting and a good microphone because when I started filming for the podcast, I was recording with my iPhone. And later, when I was listening to the video, you know, when you're recording with the iPhone, sometimes it will lose its sound. So that's what happened to me. It loses sound whenever I was recording. It was really frustrating. So what I did was just to get myself the microphone. When you see that things are not coming out your way, like you just forget about the thing that you said you wanted to do, and at the end, you don't do it. That's what happened to me basically. When I found myself in that situation, I was like, okay, well, then let me just leave it. No, but it's still an idea that is always coming to mind. And the most funny thing is that when I was checking the videos I recorded, I saw that it was exactly the same date I recorded those videos, is exactly the same date I am today, 7th of April. Also, think of the consequences of doing it, of taking action, and think of the negative consequences of not doing it, of not taking action. Well, I really didn't think of the consequences because I was just like living life. it was still an idea that I had in mind, and sometimes I would just take my phone, and anytime I had an idea, I would just like record myself speaking. One thing I found about positive consequences of starting this is that I'm more happier and I feel more fulfilled within me because I'm finally doing something that I always said, and I'm finally taking action. Once you start doing the things you wanted to do, once you start taking action, there's a part of you that feels more relief. I think that stress basically comes because we don't take action in the things that we said we want to do. I think why we get anxious is because there's something in us triggering us. Why don't I do it? Why don't I start? Like for me, I was like feeling anxious because I was not doing this content creation thing. I was not doing the podcast that I said I wanted to start, and I was really feeling bad with myself. That's another thing. I was still living my life. I was still living with that anxiety and with that stress because I was not doing what I wanted to do. Once you start doing what you want to do, once you start in the journey of your dream life, you get less anxious. It's something that I've noticed. I'm not anxious anymore because I'm finally taking time and I'm finally putting time and effort to bring out this podcast, bring out this content creation, and bring out this YouTube channel into life. So I'm really happy about that. I'm proud of myself. Another thing is that when you're growing, especially in your early 20s, you depart a lot from people. Many times your ways can be lonely, the journey can be lonely, and you don't have any opinion to listen to because there's no one telling you anything. So in that case, it didn't affect me. But another thing that why perfectionism is stopping us from taking action also is because we are too focused on caring what others might think, caring what others might say about what we're doing. But what you don't know is that you have to stop thinking of yourself like you are the king of Spain in that sense because no one really cares about you. At the end of the day, we are all thinking about ourselves, like no one is thinking about you, like you don't matter in that sense. Of course, you do matter, but you know what I mean. You don't matter in that sense. It's not a big deal because at the end, it's you that's living your life, not them. For example, I'm just starting this YouTube channel and I haven't told anyone. At the end of the day, we're all living our life. We're all focused on ourselves. And yeah, we'll talk about you maybe 5 minutes and we are moving on to the next thing. Like, it's no big deal. You are no big deal in that sense. Start planning and start making it part of your day. Many times when we're planning, we can overplan and at the end we end up doing nothing. But later you find yourself that when you're planning, you actually take the steps, writing down everything you have to get done in order to make this project come to life. Once you start planning what you want to do, like you put a schedule, you put the hours, let it be the first thing or one of the first thing you do in the morning. For example, okay, I'm a student. On weekdays, I'm busy. On weekends, I use it to plan content and to create content to be able to remain consistent in that way. That's another thing. Be consistent. Don't start and just leave it there. Let people say, que pesada es, as we say in Spanish. Oh, here she comes again. Just be consistent, work hard, enjoy the journey, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. By you even having a dream to pursue, having the freedom to pursue a dream is already a blessing, something that we shouldn't take for granted. Go all in because there are many people in this world suffering that don't have anything to eat, that don't have a normal, boring life like ours, and they're surviving. But us, we are living. Let's appreciate that and take action. All you have to do is start. All I'm doing is starting, enjoying the journey, enjoying the process. I know that if I continue and if I stick to it, I'm going to get to my end destination. Thank you very much. This was Elevate and Excel with Ify Eze. I hope you enjoy and make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to check out my podcast, Elevate and Excel, available on Spotify. I will also be uploading this. Thank you very much.